Hey guys, this is John here in Los Angeles with the Alpha Channel update for Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. What a day today is. I'm sure you've all seen the news, so I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm going to start with the Yggdrasil deck for today. This is a very heavy-duty tarot deck. I've never mentioned the author's name because it can barely read it. Halber Haldenson, is that right? Halderson, I think so. And today's card is Goy. Transformation. It's time for a transformation, Goy. So, considering what's going on around the world, it's pretty relevant. I'm going to jump right into the comic today. I'm really happy with this one. This one is Elric, the Balanced Lost #1. I took a look at this a couple weeks ago, and I just wasn't in the right mood, and I am in a mood today. As you can see, I am my evil twin. I am the original sinner. I am Lucifer, looking for forgiveness from God. You know, Lucifer is as close as you can get to heaven. Be the rebel. Be the rebel and figure out why it's a bad move. That's what you should do. That's who Elric is. We're going to talk about Elric and the difference between Elric and Conan. Conan was created in the 1930s. Where I believe Robert E. Howard died in 1931, so Conan would have been created before that. But I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Maybe Robert E. Howard only lived to 1931. Maybe he was born in 1931 and died in the 50s. That's probably, I don't know. I'm not looking it up. Not right now. This is about Elric. Elric is walking the Moonbeam Road. Elric was created in the 60s as the antithesis to Conan, as Conan's polar opposite. So where Conan is all big muscles and tan and no clothes, Elric is this scrawny little guy who has to take drugs and use magic, use the sorcery from his sword, which is like a soul stealer. Elric was created deliberately. You could say Elric represents diversity in the sword and sorcery genre. And that's why he was such a hit. Look, steroids were huge back then. You had Arnold, who was really cheating. He is the definition of, now he wasn't a scrawny guy, but he did use steroids, and that's a magic. That's a sorcery of a kind, right? That's not Conan. Conan wouldn't have done that. Conan would just be natural. Conan would be like that guy, Cheyenne, Clint Walker, the other Clint, not Clint Eastwood. He was I don't know, maybe a decade before Clint Eastwood, still black and white stuff, but he was like 6'6" and a natural, 250-pound guy. So here, Elric, this book is, this is a new Elric story. This is exactly what I asked for on yesterday's episode when we looked at P. Craig Russell's Elric #1. These are the only two Elric comics I have. But I did read, or at least listen to all the audiobooks, the entire catalog of Elric stories by Michael Moorcock. And so it's all fresh in my memory, and I didn't listen to it as a kid. As a kid, I discovered Conan and read Conan and absorbed Conan. I read all the Savage Swords, all the Conan sagas. I built my life around modeling after that character who was all discipline, intelligence, resourcefulness, responsibility, self-accountability. There's no one to blame but yourself. If someone beats you up, get fucking stronger. Learn how to fight. I went to all the martial arts schools. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First, let's see what's going on here. So this guy wakes up, and every night when he goes to sleep, he is Elric. I don't dream either. I only have nightmares. When I have dreams, they're terrible. They're all action movies. I wake up completely exhausted. So this guy is watching TV. One of the people he works with says, "Wow, you must have a twin. That guy looks just like you, except that he has dark hair and glasses." And it is indeed his twin. And at this point, so this was published in 2011. I don't remember what was going on in 2010 or 2011. It was the beginning of the anti-white culture war. And that's a little bit of what this is. I think V for Vendetta, the movie, had come out. I think the Watchmen movie had come out. So what's going on here is these guys are the Law and Order Party, and they are having essentially BLM riots against progressives. They're only called progressives back in 2011. They're not called the woke mob. We haven't had the summer of terror. This is Conan. Conan being the alter ego of Elric. This is a Neil Adams skateboard, 10 of 10. Bought it at a convention. He was really cool. So in this story, well, I skipped ahead. This is Dorian Hawkmoon. But anyhow, we remember the Black Lives Matter. I'll skip that. So this is Dorian Hawkmoon is included in this. I really like what they're doing with this. This is Boom Comics. Boom Comics, who did Something is Killing the Children, which paid my rent for almost 2 years, 2019 and 2020. I just sold copies and copies and copies of #1. I would buy them from a comic book store for $50 and sell them on eBay for $250 10 days later, 5 days later. You could just go to like I remember buying a bunch from the New York comic shop. I bought like all they had, and then they listed some more and they'd raised the prices and stuff. I think it was the Planet. I don't remember what it was. I actually got to go there when I was in New York to that comic book store. So here's Dorian Hawkmoon. He's having a painting done of himself, and he's remembering his battles. And his daughter comes in and tells him that her cat has been telling her that there's this problem on the horizon, that these bad guys they thought were dead are not dead. It's this page here, like the Lord of the Flies or something. This is really cool. This is a new story with Michael Moorcock's sort of entire universe. It's terrible to say the guy's name, but it wouldn't be fair to not say his name because he did do a really good job. I absolutely appreciate this guy's work. I read the Dorian Hawkmoon trade paperback when I was like 19, and I loved it. It was incredible. I remember the art being better than, I went looking for it, and I never found whatever it was that I'd read. I think I'd confused it with a couple different comics, but I remember it being a really good, read. This was a really good read today, and I think you have to get lucky with comics and be in the right mood for a comic to hit you at the right time. But this delivers. I'm a little bit older, so I don't need to see Conan just killing people on every page. The one thing I would say about this is that there's like one too many ensemble parts. There's one too many new characters. And so let's see how many we've got, right? We've got Elric. We've got this guy. This is the second Elric page. I really like this. Would be a double page spread to have on the wall, wouldn't it? In black and white, not colored yet, just inked. Yeah. So this is Eric Beck. So you have Elric and Eric Beck, who are dual personalities, and that was a thing in the original stories. But that Eric Beck was in World War II era against the Nazis. I'm sure the Jews got in Michael Moorcock's head. The Jews were all over England. And so here we also have Dorian Hawkmoon. That's a third character. Not counting his daughter, but just this is a new scene. Every scene has to be a short story, right? So Elric's short story is he's wandering to get somewhere, and he lands in this chaos land, and he has to get out before he's trapped there. That's a three-page story. Perfect story. It's a scene, a beginning, a middle, and an end. The turn, the twist, or the promise, the turn, the prestige. This Damon Beck story is he wakes up from a nightmare where he just experienced the last 3 pages, and now he has to face the fact that his brother's a sociopath and is trying to unite the country against, marginalized people, which is how it was presented back then. Now we've seen that the marginalized people have been marginalized because they're fucking savages. And they're not civilized. They need to be marginalized. They need to be third worldized. And here's also another really cool thing I just saw, and I want to point out to you guys because it was really well done. This match cut. A match cut is when you get an image that matches the next image. Isn't that cool? That's just great. This is written by, I want to say Chris Robinson, but I didn't look at who did the, Chris Robertson, and who did the pencils. Francesco Baghini. Francesco Baghini's a fucking god. I don't know if he's in Brazil or Spain. There's a ton of Spanish and Filipino artists. Alex Nino's one of my favorite. I've got some watercolors of his, watercolor posters. So Dorian Hawkmoon, third story, unrelated to the first two, but it's similar because his daughter's warning of the same things that are going on with these other guys. Now we cut back to Eric Beck. Once you cut back, you should stop introducing new characters. If you're going to introduce a new character after this, you should bounce him, you should push him right up against the last one, Dorian Hawkmoon, and have him related to it. Here we get a fourth character, unrelated to Dorian Hawkmoon, unrelated to Eric Beck, unrelated to Elric, only in that it's kind of related. It's a little bit of a match cut. This guy Eric, I can see how they did it. It was the black ship. He sees a play about the black ship, and here's the black ship. But why not do the black ship first and lead that back to here? He could have done that. That would have been just fine. And especially since the next page, that would have brought us right back to where he is again. I'm nitpicking, but it's out of love. I love this book. I'm really happy with this. I'm so glad I read this today. So this guy is trapped in a land. These guys are basically multiverse. This is a multiverse. The Michael Moorcock stuff is absolutely multiverse. I think he probably coined the term. And this guy has reached a place without law or chaos. This whole book, the whole Elric story is about the fight between law and chaos, order and chaos. Elric serves chaos. Blood for the blood gods, blood and souls for my Lord Ariok. And we get such a fucking awesome page where he says that. Blood for the blood gods, blood and souls for my Lord Ariok. Lord of Chaos. Chaos is the times we are in right now. I love it. I love what's going on. I thrive in times like this. This is how I grew up. So when everything's calm and peaceful, I'm always on edge. When the rest of you are freaking out, I'm perfectly cool. That's the one thing I loved about the Marine Corps. We were all kids. We were all little sociopaths, 19 to 20 years old, psychopaths. And when there's an emergency, when there's something to be done, fucking everyone is on it. Plus, no one's drunk or stoned. So everyone was on it and working together. When everything was calm, we were all fighting with each other, picking on each other. No one was fucking happy. But when shit was going down, so here, this guy, he sees this dude and he has to rescue him because he's being tortured. They know each other. I don't remember them. They're second, third level characters. But here we could have, he could have said something about the black ship. He could have had the black ship on the horizon, and then we cut back to this dude with the student protests. And what's hilarious about this is that the real student protests kind of hadn't even started yet. They were all like 2015 and 2016, the shrieking professors about get out of our safe space. That hadn't happened when this book came out. I can't wait to get the rest of this series. I think it's only like 6 or 8 issues. Boom Comics is, you know what else I love about this book? This is the perfect quality for right now. I love the colors. I love the page thickness. I love the covers a little bit. The pages are probably like 40 pound. The cover's like 60. It's not 80. But that's fucking nice. Glossy 40 pound paper. This is a fancy book. I don't know how much it cost. It doesn't say it on the cover, which is nice. I like when they don't put the price on the cover. Only Jews think that way. And Jews are getting theirs now, aren't they? October to October. From the dry land to, from the ocean to the sea, the dry land must be free of Jews. So here's Elric having a fight against a bunch of demons, but these demons have no souls, so his sword can't nourish him. Did you guys know that Jews are descended of dwarves, and the dwarves were created by Hades before God created man and they had no souls? It's true. Look it up in the Silmarillion. J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, Silmarillion. So here's the page I was telling you guys about. Blood and souls. Blood for the blood gods. Blood for my Lord Ariok. And both these pages are great. This one's really good. This would be a great black and white, Maybe some grayscale. Here's a monster. Hopefully that one's got a soul, or got a few souls. And what's happening on this? Here we get back to the student protests, and this guy shows his demons. Just get out of my way. He's a professor. And she shows up and says, I need you, Eric Beck, I need you to come with me. Girl boss. Mulatto girl boss. Chris Robertson, you're fucking vaccinated, aren't you? And here we have an afterword by Neil Gaiman, who I've read some of his stuff, and it's really interesting, the difference between he and I. Yeah, he's been successful, but he's, whatever. I'm not discounting that. He says he loved the Elric books. He discovered them when he was 9. I discovered Conan. I guarantee you I could beat the shit out of Neil Gaiman at any point in his life, between any point in mine. And that's going to bring me to talk about martial arts. Martial arts is rehabilitation. It's like what do you call it when you have to take extra classes? Remedial classes, remedial gym class. That's what martial arts are. For the kids who had really bad crossed eyes like me, I could never play baseball. I was not big enough for football because I was a late bloomer. Freshman year, I was still like 5'3", probably like 90 pounds soaking wet, if that. I didn't get tall until like senior year, junior to senior year. Like that summer, I started growing. I'm 6'2" now, 185. I've been up to 200, but it's just middle body fat. I could probably put on some more muscle, but I've done it before. I'm sure I'll do it again. But the point is, martial arts are super important if you're a guy. You should be taking, it is remedial classes. It is for nerds. Michael Jai White is a fight nerd. Scott Adkins is a fight nerd. They'd be the first guys to tell you that. Jet Li knows more, probably one individual knows more Chinese martial arts than anyone else. Here's the thing I want to say. All this is bringing me to this. So wrestling teaches you how to roll around on the ground, how to crawl. The Marine Corps teaches you how to walk. But Chinese Kung Fu is where you need to go to learn how to stand. And you need to be taught how to stand. I'm not talking about the forms. I'm not talking about Tai Chi. I'm talking about Ni Gong. Ni Gong is the secret to all martial arts that no one talks about. And the Chinese mastered how to stand. You're not going to be able to see, and I'm not going to do it for you right now. I'm going to describe it. You need to put your heel down, your knee forward. So maybe I will stand up. You won't be able to see it. So your knee, and twist it out, and twist the ball of your foot in, and use your heel as a lever so that you lock your feet into place. When you're able to do that, you guys should look up Yi Long, Yilong. He's a Shaolin mixed martial artist who wears yellow robes with a black stripe or a black sash. I think he has really the Charlie Brown thing going on, like the one guy from Kill Bill. And you can see him when he stands. The other guys can hit him and they're going to break their hand. Like Boss Rutan. Boss Rutan could lower his forehead. And Boss Rutan fought bare knuckle, so you don't punch bare knuckle. That's the first thing you should learn. All these guys you see out there throwing like wild haymakers and hitting someone in the side of the head, that shatters, and especially if you catch them with your pinky, that will shatter the pinky. This is an interesting thing about the pinky. The pinky is your strongest finger because it has this massive muscle attached to it, but the pinky bone is the weakest bone, and that will shatter on someone's skull. You want to hit someone with the first 2 knuckles. The easiest punch is a dropping hammer fist, even with the palm heel. But Boss Rutan fought palm heel all the time. That's all he did, E Honda style. And all of this shit you guys should learn. From wrestling, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, aikido, kung fu, karate. You should study all of it. Muay Thai. There's the 8 gates of Muay Thai. You should know what the 8 gates of Muay Thai are. Kali Eskrima, Pencak Silat, I think is the other name for that. The Bali Song is a Filipino knife. You guys need to learn all this stuff because you may need to use it. Here's the important thing about martial arts. One of the things when you first get into classes and stuff, you'll get this scenario, right? If someone does this to you here, blah, 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 just run. You can't have that mindset. Because what if you're out with your mom and her mom or what if you're out, not your mom and her mom, your mom and great grandmother. What if you're out with your girlfriend and your parents or her parents? What if you're out with your family? There was some guy in Beverly Hills out with his 2-year-old daughter, and some savage tried to kidnap her 2 days ago, and he stabbed him to death. Not even, I think Monday. Yes, today's Tuesday, yesterday. Did I say today was Monday? Today's Tuesday, October 1st. So, you can't be Elric. You can't be weak, addicted to drugs, and just embrace that. You need to be Conan. You need to be the Conan of your life. That's all there is to it. That's what you have to do. Nigong is the secret to Kung Fu. Look it up, learn it. Horse stance, embracing horse, or maybe there's some other name for it. But yeah, that's the shit you guys need to learn. And this is brought to you by Legacy of a Mad Scientist, Legend of Ashley Fox, 2 amazing audiobooks for you here on YouTube. We have a comic book in the description if you want to check it out. There's some other links in the description, some good stuff. I don't remember all of it. All right, see you guys tomorrow.